word prince, which means first. So really principle means first law, or first law mentioned. So when I talk about laws today, when I talk about these things, I'm talking about dressing up. And some people, they have this idea that, oh, you know, it's not all about how you look. Bull crap. You know it's about how you look. How many of you know it's about how you look? Because one mentor taught me that when you dress up, you feel up. When you feel up, you speak up. When you speak up, they pay up. How many of y'all want to get paid? I know some of y'all, it's not about the money. Really? It's not about the money. I put up a post on social media because sometimes I like to just stir up controversy. My wife doesn't like controversy. I'm pretty controversial. Aren't you glad you came to this positive session? So I put up this post because I know how people think sometimes. Because I used to think the same stupid, broke thoughts they think. And it's not your fault. It's typically the culture and the environment you're raised in, right? And so I put up a post, and it was a post of a video of Floyd Mayweather's garage. And some of you, you know, he was here last night because they had a big bout and stuff, leverage, a whole different topic. We'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, he's fighting Pacquiao. They're going to pay him over $150 million to fight for 60 minutes. Wow. 60 minutes worth of work, $150 million. But watch this, it took him 20 years to get there. They don't talk about that though. You understand what I'm saying? And so I put up this post is what I'm saying. And on the video, it had a Rolls Royce. It had a second Rolls Royce. Then he had 3 Bugattis in the garage. 3 Bugattis in there. Bugatti is about $1.2 to $1.5 million per car. So the question was raised to him in an interview. They said, why do you have more than 1 Bugatti? Why do you have 3? He said, well, if I had 1 is too close to 0. Wow. That's a different way of thinking, right? Now, some people say, oh, that's materialistic. Matter of fact, when I posted the video showing all these cars and stuff, I had a guy that, watch this, used to work for me when I was in the corporate world. This guy's probably in his 40s. He sent me an email whenever the elections were, in the local elections. He sends me an email. Says, Jarrod, man, love what you're doing. You've got a major platform. Why don't you promote people going out to vote? Because their vote is their voice. And I almost responded to him that, number one, why don't you go build a platform as large as mine is so you can promote what you want to promote? But I didn't say that because I'm saying it. And so, you know, sometimes you just don't respond. Because if I responded the way I really, you know, because I want to say, where were you at when I was over here working a full-time job and working a business part-time, building the business, having people tell me no, having people stand me up? Where were you then with this advice of what I should do with my network and what my platform is? Where were you then? But I'm saved, so I didn't say all that. And so I put up the post, and then he responds, things. You're about things? Very materialistic. I put up a video with cars in it. And I thought to myself, I said, wow, that's exactly what Mr. Bug says. He said, typically, materialism, or that word materialistic, only is used when a person can afford something, or when it makes them uncomfortable. Because how many of you, by show of hands, have more than 1 pair of shoes? You're materialistic. Why do you need more than 1 pair of shoes? You can only wear 1 pair at a time, right? So why do you have more than 1 pair? Go over to Somalia, go over to Nigeria, to the kids there that are walking with no shoes on like I used to do for 3 years. No shoes. It's a privilege to have a pair of shoes. Let them see your closet. You know what they'll say? You're materialistic. So what if you can put yourself in a position, I'm just throwing out some things right now just to kind of break ground before we start planting the seed today. But just think about that. What if you could be in a position to treat your car collection like you treat your shoe collection? How many of y'all have a favorite box of cereal? Favorite brand of cereal? What's your favorite brand of cereal? Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes. How many of y'all like Frosted Flakes? How many of y'all think it's too much sugar? Now watch this. That don't stop him from getting his Frosted Flakes. Why? Because that's what he wants. You follow what I'm saying? Who else has a favorite brand of coffee? I mean, not coffee. We know what y'all's coffee. But how many of you literally have a different favorite brand of cereal. What's yours? Honey Bunches. Is it Honey Bunches of Oats or just Honey Bunches? Okay, I call my wife Honey Bunches. What else? What else? Anybody else have a different one? Honey Bunches. Frosted Flakes. What else? Ashley, this guy is unique. She's so unique. What is it?
The pumpkin spice secret one.
Okay, that's good. How many of y'all eat that cereal? One other person. Nothing wrong with it. That's what she wants. That's what she wants. That's what she likes, right? Now, what if you can treat your box of cereal collection that you have at your home like you treat your home collection? Are you limited to having one home? No. But our culture teaches us, why do you need more than one home? You don't need that. You have more than one home, that's materialist. I want a private plane. Private jet, I have to have one. With the work that I'm called to do, I'll be traveling all over the world. I cannot be waiting in lines in a commercial airline. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's not going, I'm not going to be able to fulfill my work that way. Like, I have to have a Bentley.
Yes, we do.
No, I'm saying I have to have it. Now, some of y'all are like, no, you don't. Yes, I do. I told you I'm controversial. I'm messing with your psyche right now. Yeah, because I've got to attack your psyche because you weren't there when I was living in Nigeria on the floor. And my best friends were roaches and rats. You weren't there when I had a little mat as a bed, just a little mat, sleeping on the floor. You weren't there when we had no electricity, no running water. We used to wake up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. All the little village kids will get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's part of our routine. Because there's no inner plumbing, there's no water plumbing system. We'll get up in the morning, you'll walk 6 to 7 miles one way with buckets in your hand. One on your left, one on your right for balance, and if you were very good, you would put one on your head. We would go down to the river every morning, 6 a.m., fill both buckets of water, fill the one on your head, and literally walk 6 miles from the river back home. One bucket would use to cook, so we'd have to boil it, so you can boil out the bacteria. And then you'd have to let it cool down. The other bucket was for the family, so you'd be able to take a bath with. Then the other bucket that would be on your head is just for normal common stuff. You wash your hands or something like this. There was no restroom. You would dig a hole in the ground, in the backyard. You would have a hole. You do both 1 and 2 in the same hole. Everybody used the same hole. So you weren't there for that. You didn't see that. There was no mom. Didn't have a mother there. I didn't have a father there. They're both here, going to law school. You can't have a little 5-year-old with you while you're trying to go to law school with both parents. I mean, you're studying 20 hours a day. So I'm in a third world country with people that I don't know. I'm 5 years old. My first language is English. Now, our English is different from their English. Nigeria was a colony of Great Britain. So over in the third world country, their English dialect is different from that of the US because we were not colonized by that country, that kingdom. And so we spoke the Queen's English. But they spoke the Queen's English with an accent. So I'm brand new to a third world country, no parents whatsoever, in a new condition that I'm not accustomed to whatsoever, with people that I don't know, never met these people in my life. Now I'm attending school, oddball out. Why? Because I sound different. Oh, their educational system there is a whole lot more advanced than ours. So in the 2nd grade, what we were studying in the 2nd grade over there, really, over here, you would be studying in the 8th grade. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at your professionalism, or when you look at, your corporate professional IT jobs and jobs that deal with mathematics and biology, you see a lot of foreigners in those positions. Why? Because they're so much further advanced than we are in this country. The only thing that we lead in the United States of America now in terms of number one is defense. That's it. You go do your research. So now you've got this 5-year-old boy, no parents. I go from living in an apartment here in the U.S. to now sleeping on the floor. I had my own bunk beds, I had my own bed while I was here. Now I'm sleeping on the floor with roaches and rats in a mat, on a mat, no pillow. I'm at school. Now they're calling me a dunce. Oh, he's stupid. And he sounds funny. I would come home with bad grades because now I'm totally confused. I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand anything that y'all are teaching. I'm learning, 5 plus 5. Y'all are doing algebra. This is a whole different language. How many know what I'm talking about? Well, you just don't fit in. I'm coming home. I come home, and my grandmother and her kids, which are my aunts and uncles, they're looking at, oh, your back must be hurting. Well, what you mean my back is hurting? Yeah, your back must be hurting. You carried the class this year. You at the bottom of the class. You should walk around like this. This is from ages 5 to ages 12. Can you imagine what my psyche was? Can you understand what my psychology was? Can you understand what my esteem was? For 6 years? But you got to learn how to adapt. That's why this business is now simple for me. Because I look at all of those years of what took place, and I look at it now and I say, oh, that's why that had to happen for this to be in place. When you go to Hollywood, in Hollywood, directors will tell you that they typically shoot the ending of their movies first. And then they go back and put all the other places together to fit and match the ending. And so my question for you today, you're here. I congratulate you. I applaud you for being here, especially y'all. You guys had some other stuff that you were going to do, and we had maybe a 20-second conversation. I said, no, I would cancel that to be here, and y'all showed up. So y'all give them a round of applause. That's the speed of implementation. Most people get the information, but they never implement it, so they don't get the results. So some of you are going to get knowledge today. You're going to get information today, which is okay. Some of you are going to get understanding, which is the comprehension of the information. And then a few of us in here are going to apply it, which is wisdom. I hope many of you apply it. Because what we're going to learn today, you can't learn this at most business schools. You can't learn this at most universities. See, 2015 is coming. We're a few weeks away from it, 2015. How many of you are expecting 2015 to be the greatest year of your life? Yeah. You're expecting that. Really, you're really expecting 2015 it's got to be a breakthrough year for you. How many of y'all really, you're really serious about that, right? So, how does that happen? Well, I've got to change my thinking. I've got to change how I'm thinking. Like Oliver Wendell Holmes said, that quote you keep repeating, that's Oliver Wendell Holmes. He says, a moment of insight is worth a lifetime of experience. So you can get insight today. That's what vision is. Vision, write this down. Vision is foresight with insight based on hindsight. That's what vision is. It's foresight with insight based on hindsight. In other words, it's what I see in my heart. What I see in my heart. Write this down too, please. Eyes that look are common. Eyes that look are common. But eyes that can see are rare. Eyes that look are common, but eyes that can see are rare. A lot of times we let what we see block what we have seen. See, there's no limit to your imagination, to what you've seen in the future. You know the quickest way to get to your future? The quickest way to get to your future is hanging around it. What has to change? Everybody say me.
Me.
What has to change?
Me.
In order for things to change, I must change. In order for things to get better, I must get better. So how many of you know 2013, 2014, you didn't do all you could do? I mean, if we were to take inventory of ourselves, we would all admit and agree we have not gone all out. Am I right? Am I right?
Right.
So now the question becomes, why? It always leads back to why I have not gone all out. In other words, you know what to do. How many of you know what to do in this business? You build relationships, you build rapport. How do you build relationships with new people if you keep hanging out with the same old ones? Right? How can I make impact if I continue to stay at home after I get off work? Or if I keep hanging in the same circles? Because what I really want, I haven't seen it yet. And whenever you don't have vision for something, you will always roam. How many of you have cell phones, and when you leave Houston or you travel, what I notice is when you pull out your cell phone, it always changes. Especially when you leave the country. When you leave the country, your cell phone deal, if it's a T-Mobile or AT&T, it will change, and it will change into whatever cell phone towers are being used there. Now, your charges are, you don't pay the cost that you would normally pay when you're in the States. You pay a different price. They call it roaming charges. It's the same thing in life. When you don't have vision, you don't secure and lock into a specific focus and what I call a specific tower of focus. And since you're not locked into a specific tower of focus, you begin to roam. You start roaming your life, you start roaming in life, you start roaming in the business, and you start accumulating more charges. And when you get the bill, you're like, oh gosh, how did this happen? You had no vision, you were roaming. The sign of someone who has vision is someone who is disciplined. Discipline. That's the sign that you have a vision that you're after. If you show me a man that doesn't have discipline, I'll show you one that doesn't have vision. I'm sure when Mr. Walls, he takes off his jacket and that shirt, maybe he has on a tank top or what have you, people, when they look at his body, they're like, oh, I can tell he works out. You probably get people that ask you, hey, how often do you work out? Or they may ask you questions about that. You know why? Because a person that has that physique, you know they didn't just get that physique. They didn't just luck into it. They know there was a cost that you had to pay to get that result. But when you see someone who's out of shape, you never go to him and say, hey, what you been doing? How did you do that? You never ask that question. Am I right? Am I right? Why? Because you know what they've been doing. Nothing. There's been no discipline. Right? Now, I'm not putting that down on it. I'm making a point here. Same thing in this business. Same thing in life. It's the same focus. When you want to change your financial results, you want to change your physical results, you want to change your relationship results, you are going to have to change. One author said, when I was young, I wanted to change the world. Realized it was too hard. He said, so I prayed to God to help me change my city. Didn't happen. He said, until I got to my older age that I realized I just need to change myself. Because when you change you start affecting and changing people around you. But everybody want to change the world. Nobody want to change themselves. Person come in, they tell you their goals, their weight goals, or whatever the case may be. Then you start designing a plan. Tell them, okay, we need to do 3 days a week. We need to do 4 days a week. Or whatever it is. You start designing that plan for them. Then you say, oh, you know, you eating all this? No, you can't eat this no more. This got to go. If you want these results, this got to go. Now, if you don't really want these results, you keep doing that. You can keep doing that. But you want these results? Oh, this got to go, this got to go, this got to go, this got to go. Then you got to commit yourself. And then it's always different working out by yourself than when it is that you're working with a coach. So I told Lenny, he's not ready for me. Because you know, write this down. Whenever you grade your own paper, you will cheat.
Yeah.
So you need a coach. Keep you accountable. Whenever you grade your own paper, you will cheat. That's why you have to have a coach. Because a coach will keep you accountable. And if you notice, a coach, watch this, will charge you for their expertise. You don't do that for free, do you? No. Why? Why would I do it for free? I got a philosophy. I borrowed it from T. Harv Eker. He said, when people show up, make sure you bill them.
Before they came.
Yeah, you bill them when they show up. Why? Because nobody values free. There's no value with free. That's what happened with the subprime industry. The mortgage industry, why it collapsed? You know why? Because people were getting in for free.
Yep.
Before, you used to have to put some skin in the game. You have to put 20% down. You cannot get the result unless you get in the ring. You got to get in the ring. It's going to be the same work. Do you know that you've done enough work to become a multimillionaire if you've been working for 10 years or more in a job situation? Because there are only two things that you can invest to get a return. The only two things you can invest are money and time. Now, we all have the same 24 hours, right? Right?
Yeah.
Anybody got 26 hours a day? We all got the same 24 hours. So the only way you can sow a seed, you either are sowing a seed of time into something or money into something. It's either time or money. So you've got to decide, where am I going to sow or invest my time and my resources of money for 2015 to be the greatest year of my life?